You said in your message to me that you felt like you hadn't had a lot of progress, and I wanted to give you some perspective on that. In my experience in the learning process, you start out with you don't know what you don't know. That's sort of like the beginning. And then, the ideal end point is you know what you know so well you don't even have to think about it. The thing is, the middle part is most of your experience. And as you're learning, it's very difficult to tell the difference between, oh, I have it 20% versus 30%, which is huge improvement when you think about it. To go from 20% getting it to 30% getting it that's a big jump. But it's hard to necessarily tell. It's especially crazy in the middle, like between 35 and 65% of getting to this end goal here, because it's like, I'm kind of getting it half the time, but not really. And the thing is, 40% is kind of half the time, but so is 60%. But there's a big difference. 40% is almost half the time, and 60% is more than half the time. And it can feel very similar in the middle. So I feel like in that place that's sort of that slog where you're grinding in the middle, it's really, really, really tough to tell. This is one of the reasons I think video is absolutely your friend, because it's an objective measure of what you're actually doing and you can see the difference. You can't necessarily help how it feels kinesthetically just because it looks a particular way, but if you have the objective measure, it can help you relax into, okay, it is actually happening. And in general, I would say trust the process, because if you are doing the work, it will show, even though it doesn't feel like it's showing, because again, 40% and 60% are like both about half the time, but they're very, very different. And moving between those especially is going to feel different on that journey to this place. It's not really at the beginning and the end that feels tough. I think it's the middle that feels tough, because that is most of your experience. So anything you can do to promote objective measures will be helpful, I think. Video. Are you taking video and looking at video?